In the blistering Nevada desert, where the sun scorched the earth to ash, billionaire Victor Kane lay broken, abandoned by those he once trusted. His private jet had crashed, a sabotage he hadn't foreseen, leaving him stranded, bloodied, and clinging to life. His wealth, his empire, meaningless under the relentless heat. As vultures circled above, a shadow appeared, a girl, no older than 10, barefoot and ragged, her eyes sharp with survival's wisdom. Mira, a homeless orphan, knew the desert's cruelty better than most. She scavenged for scraps, her life a daily battle against thirst and despair. Spotting Victor, she hesitated. Why save a stranger when survival demanded selfishness? Yet his faint plea, "Water, please," stirred something in her. She approached cautiously, her cracked lips set in a wary line. "Don't move," she warned, tossing him a half-empty canteen. Victor gulped the warm water, his vision clearing. "Who are you?" he rasped. Mira shrugged, uninterested in his world. "Nobody. Like you now." Her words cut deeper than the desert's heat. Victor, once untouchable, was nothing here. Mira untied his restraints, her small hands deft from years of survival. "You owe me," she said, turning away. As night fell, the desert grew colder, and Victor's strength waned. Mira, against her instincts, led him to a crumbling shack, her refuge. "Stay here, but don't expect more," she snapped. Victor, humbled, saw her not as a child but a survivor. Why had she helped him? Her act of kindness hinted at a mystery, one that might change him forever. The desert night cloaked the shack in eerie silence, broken only by the howl of distant coyotes. Victor Kane, once master of boardrooms, shivered on the dirt floor, his tailored suit torn and useless. Mira, the homeless girl who'd saved him, sat cross-legged by a cracked window, her silhouette sharp against the moonlight. She chewed on a stale crust, offering Victor a piece with a reluctant glance. "Eat. You'll need it," she said, her voice flat but firm. Victor took the bread, its grit unfamiliar to his refined palate. "Why help me?" he asked, studying her. Myra's eyes, hardened by years of abandonment, met his. "Don't flatter yourself. I don't let things die if I can help it." Her words stung, revealing a compassion she hid beneath her tough exterior. Victor, used to buying loyalty, felt unmoored by her indifference to his status. Mira stood, scanning the horizon. "Storm's coming. We move at dawn." Victor, weak but curious, pressed, "To where?" She ignored him, checking a makeshift trap outside. A scorpion skittered away, and she crushed it with her bare heel, unfazed. Her resilience awed Victor, a man who'd never faced true hardship. As thunder rumbled, Mira revealed a map scratched into the shack's wall, routes to water, shelters, dangers. "This is my world," she said. "Yours is gone." Victor's gaze lingered on her, realizing her act of saving him wasn't just chance. Something deeper drove her, a secret buried in her past. Lightning flashed, illuminating her face, and Victor sensed her kindness might unravel his guarded heart, or lead them both to ruin. Dawn broke over the desert, painting the horizon in fiery hues. Victor Kane stumbled behind Mira, his polished shoes sinking into the sand. The storm had passed, but the air buzzed with tension. Mira moved with purpose, her small frame navigating dunes with ease. "Keep up or stay behind," she called, her voice cutting through the wind. Victor, drained but determined, marveled at her command of this brutal world. They reached a dry riverbed, where Mira knelt, digging for water trapped beneath. Victor watched, humbled by her ingenuity. "How'd you learn this?" he asked. Myra's hands paused, her gaze distant. "You don't get to ask that," she snapped, but her tone betrayed a flicker of pain. Victor sensed a story she guarded fiercely, a past that shaped her defiance. As they sipped the muddy water, Victor shared fragments of his life, his empire built on tech, his betrayal by allies. Mira listened, unimpressed. "Your world sounds like a cage," she said. Her words struck Victor, exposing the emptiness of his wealth. He noticed a locket around her neck, its surface worn. "What's that?" he ventured. Myra's hand closed over it. "None of your business." A distant rumble interrupted them. Engines. Myra's eyes narrowed. "Scavengers," she whispered, pulling Victor behind a boulder. As the dust settled, she muttered, "They're hunting something. Or someone." Victor's heart raced. Was it him they sought? His crash wasn't an accident, and now Mira might be in danger for helping him. Her act of kindness had tied their fates, but her secrets, and his enemies, loomed closer, threatening to shatter their fragile trust. The desert sun climbed higher, its heat pressing down like a vice. Mira led Victor through a maze of rocky outcrops, her steps silent, eyes scanning for danger. The distant rumble of scavenger engines had faded, but tension hung heavy. Victor, his body aching, struggled to match her pace. "Who were they?" he panted. Myra's jaw tightened. "People who take what's not theirs. Like you used to." Her words cut deep, and Victor flinched. He'd built his empire on ruthless deals, but here, stripped of power, he felt exposed. Mira stopped at a shallow cave, motioning him inside. "Rest. You're slowing me down." She tossed him a cactus fruit, its spines carefully removed. Victor ate, gratitude mingling with guilt. Her act of saving him was reshaping his soul. In the cave's dim light, Mira checked her locket, her fingers tracing its edges. Victor dared to ask, "Someone you lost?" Her glare was fierce, but she softened. "My brother. He's gone." Her voice cracked, revealing a wound she hid well. Victor, no stranger to loss, felt a pang of connection. "I lost my sister," he admitted. "Long ago." Mira studied him, her guard lowering slightly. "Doesn't make us friends," she said, but her tone was less sharp. As they shared a moment of silence, a shadow flickered outside. Mira froze, signaling quiet. A scavenger's voice echoed, "The billionaire's worth a fortune dead." Victor's blood ran cold. His enemies were closing in, and Myra's act of kindness had painted a target on her back. Could he protect her, or would his past destroy them both? The desert's midday heat was suffocating, turning the cave into a furnace. Mira crouched near the entrance, her eyes locked on the horizon where dust trails marked the scavenger's retreat. Victor, his heart pounding, whispered, "They're after me, aren't they?" Mira nodded grimly. "Your world's poison. Now it's spilling into mine." Her words stung, but Victor couldn't argue. His enemies had found him, and Mira was collateral. She handed him a sharpened stone. "If they come, fight. I'm not dying for you." Victor gripped the crude weapon, his hands trembling. He'd negotiated billion-dollar deals, but survival demanded a different strength, one Mira possessed in spades. She pointed to a narrow trail. "We'll head for the old mines. They won't follow there." Victor hesitated. "Why risk this for me?" Myra's gaze was fierce. "I don't leave people to die." They moved swiftly, the desert's vastness swallowing their footsteps. Myra's locket glinted as she ran, a reminder of her unspoken pain. Victor wondered about her brother, what had happened to him. Her act of saving him felt tied to that loss, a redemption she didn't admit. As they neared the mines, a rusted sign warned of collapse. Mira ignored it, slipping inside. In the mine's cool darkness, Victor's fear eased, but Myra's tension grew. "This place isn't safe," she muttered, checking for tracks. A faint scrape echoed deeper within. Victor froze. "Someone's here," he whispered. Myra's hand tightened on her knife. Had the scavengers outsmarted them, or was another threat lurking? Her act of kindness had bound them, but now survival demanded trust neither fully gave. The mine's damp air clung to Victor and Mira as they ventured deeper, the faint scrape growing louder. Myra's knife gleamed in the dim light filtering through cracked rock. "Stay close," she hissed, her voice low but steady. Victor, clutching his stone weapon, felt the weight of his useless wealth. Myra's act of saving him had dragged her into his nightmare, and guilt gnawed at him. A flicker of movement ahead made Mira pause. She signaled Victor to crouch behind a stalagmite. A figure emerged, a gaunt man, his clothes tattered, muttering to himself. "Not one of them," Mira whispered, relaxing slightly. The man, startled, raised a rusted pipe. "Who's there?" he croaked. Mira stepped forward, fearless. "Just passing through." "You?" He lowered the pipe, eyeing Victor suspiciously. "Name's Cal, hiding from scavengers, like you." His gaze lingered on Victor's torn suit. "You're no desert rat." Victor tensed, but Mira cut in. "He's with me." "That's enough." Cal grunted, unconvinced, but offered them a sip from his canteen. Victor drank, humbled by the stranger's generosity. Cal warned of traps deeper in the mine, set by scavengers to guard something, or someone. "They're hunting a big prize," he said, glancing at Victor. Myra's eyes narrowed. "We're not staying." As they moved on, Victor noticed Myra's locket trembling against her chest. "Your brother, was he lost here?" he asked softly. Her silence was answer enough. A sudden clatter echoed behind them. Cal's face paled. "They're coming." Mira grabbed Victor's arm, pulling him into a side tunnel. Her act of kindness had sparked hope, but now the mine's shadows hid threats that could end them both. The mine's narrow tunnel pressed in, its walls slick with moisture. Myra's grip on Victor's arm was iron as she led him through the dark, her knife ready. The clatter of scavengers echoed closer, their voices sharp with greed. "The billionaire's here," one shouted. Victor's stomach churned. His sabotaged crash, his betrayal, it was all catching up. Myra's act of saving him now felt like a curse. "Faster," Mira urged, her voice a fierce whisper. Victor stumbled, his strength fading, but her resolve kept him moving. They reached a fork, where rusted carts blocked one path. Mira scanned the ground, spotting fresh boot prints. "They've been here," she muttered, choosing the unblocked tunnel. Victor admired her instincts, honed by years of survival he'd never known. A low rumble shook the mine, dust cascading from above. "Trap!" Mira yelled, shoving Victor forward as a net of jagged metal dropped behind them. The scavengers had planned this. Victor's heart raced. "They want me dead," he gasped. Myra's eyes flashed. "Then don't make it easy." Her defiance sparked something in him, a will to fight. They ducked into a cavern, its walls etched with faded symbols. Mira paused, tracing one. "This was my brother's hideout," she admitted, her voice raw. Victor saw her pain, mirroring his own losses. Before he could speak, a scavenger silhouette appeared at the cavern's edge, crossbow raised. "Got you," he sneered. Mira lunged, knocking the weapon aside, but more footsteps approached. Victor grabbed a loose rock, ready to fight. Her act of kindness had given him purpose, but now they were cornered, and the mine's secrets, and their enemies, were closing in fast. The cavern's air grew thick with tension as scavenger footsteps echoed closer. Mira, knife in hand, stood protectively before Victor, her small frame radiating defiance. Victor, gripping his rock, felt a surge of resolve. Her act of kindness had awakened something in him, a desire to protect, not just survive. "We fight together," he whispered. Mira nodded, her eyes fierce but trusting. A scavenger lunged, but Mira dodged, slashing his arm. Victor swung his rock, stunning another. The attackers hesitated, surprised by their resistance. "Run!" Mira shouted, pointing to a narrow crevice glowing with faint light. They squeezed through, emerging into a hidden chamber where sunlight pierced a collapsed ceiling, illuminating a pool of clear water. Mira knelt, drinking deeply, and passed Victor a handful. "We're not dead yet," she said, a rare smirk breaking her stoic mask. Victor laughed, the sound foreign in his throat. The water revived him, but the chamber's walls told a story, carvings of a community, now gone, with symbols matching Myra's locket. "Your brother's people?" Victor asked, her face tightened. "They were family. Scavengers took them." Her voice trembled, revealing the depth of her loss. Victor, haunted by his own betrayals, understood. "I'll help you honor them," he vowed. Mira looked away, but her silence felt like acceptance. The moment shattered as a crossbow bolt grazed Victor's shoulder. Scavengers had found the crevice. Mira pulled him behind a boulder, her mind racing. "There's a way out," she said, eyeing a tunnel half buried in rubble. But the scavengers' leader called out, "Give us the billionaire, girl, and you walk." Her act of kindness had bound them, but now a choice loomed, sacrifice or survival. The chamber's faint light flickered as scavengers closed in, their leader's voice cold and commanding. "Hand over Cain, girl. Last chance." Myra's grip on her knife tightened, her eyes locked on Victor. Her act of kindness had pulled her into his world of betrayal, and now her life hung in the balance. Victor, blood seeping from his shoulder, whispered, "Let me go. Save yourself." Myra's glare silenced him. "I don't abandon people." She scanned the chamber, spotting the rubble-choked tunnel. "Move," she hissed, shoving Victor toward it. They clawed at the debris, stones scraping their hands, as bolts whizzed past. Myra's locket swung free, glinting defiantly. Victor, inspired by her courage, dug faster, unearthing a narrow gap. They squeezed through, collapsing in a dark passage as the scavengers' curses echoed behind. Mira lit a makeshift torch, revealing walls etched with her brother's symbols. "He planned an escape," she said, voice soft but resolute. Victor, awed by her strength, realized her act wasn't just compassion, it was defiance against a world that took everything. "You're not alone anymore," he said. Myra's eyes softened, but she turned away. The passage sloped upward, promising freedom, but a tremor shook the mine. Dust rained down, and Myra's torch flickered. "It's collapsing," she warned, grabbing Victor's hand. They ran, the ground buckling beneath them. A scavenger's shout pierced the chaos, some had followed. Victor stumbled, pain flaring, but Mira pulled him forward. "We survived together," she said, her words a lifeline. As daylight beckoned, a final choice loomed, face the scavengers or risk the collapsing mine. Her act had changed Victor forever, but would it cost them everything? Daylight spilled through the mine's exit, a beacon of hope against the collapsing tunnel. Mira dragged Victor forward, her small hand steady despite the quaking earth. Dust choked the air, and scavenger shouts grew faint, drowned by falling rock. Her act of kindness had sparked a bond, but survival demanded one final push. "Don't stop," she yelled, her voice fierce with determination. They burst into the desert, collapsing on warm sand as the mine sealed itself behind them. Victor, gasping, looked at Mira, her locket gleaming, her face etched with grit and resolve. "You saved me," he said, voice raw. Mira shrugged, but her eyes held a flicker of pride. "We saved each other." The horizon stretched endlessly, free of scavengers, but Victor knew his enemies would hunt again. He touched Myra's shoulder. "Come with me. I'll give you a home." She hesitated, glancing at her locket. "My brother's gone, but his fight's in me. I don't need your world." Victor nodded, respecting her strength. "Then let me fight with you." Myra's lips curved, a rare smile. "Maybe." She pointed to distant dunes. "There's a settlement. Clean water, honest people. We start there." Victor, once defined by wealth, felt reborn. Her act had stripped his arrogance, revealing purpose in shared survival. As they walked, the desert sun softened, casting long shadows. Victor carried Myra's map, her brother's legacy, vowing to honor it. Their journey was uncertain, but together, they were unstoppable. Her act of kindness had changed him forever, forging a bond stronger than any empire. The desert, once cruel, now whispered of hope, and they stepped toward it, side by side.